Wolverhampton Wanderers have been a revelation under Nuno as their manager, getting promoted to the Premier League, qualifying the Europa League, and looking like another season of Europa League, but can possibly push for a Champions League spot. Today we're going to be talking about what their ceiling is for this season and what the future holds for the Wanderers. Welcome back to the Amateur Sports Podcast. Jack is back in the studio today.
Hey, what's up?
And Roman is also joining me for today's episode.
What's going on, y'all?
Like I said, we are talking all about Wolves, Jack's Premier League team. It's Jack's favorite soccer team, yes?
Starting this year.
Basically Jack started the season, decided to get into the Premier League more, and went with Wolves as his favorite team. He drew names out of a hat. Got to the bottom two, where it was Man City or Wolves. Decided he didn't want to be a fucking Man City supporter. So here we are. He's a Wolves fan. He wanted to talk about Wolves today. So I kind of want to start with him. Jack, what is your ceiling for Wolves this season?
I think they can get a Champions League spot. Honestly, I think it's possible. They're only 6 points behind Chelsea right now. And I think Chelsea has more points than they really should be getting. I think they're a bit luckier than they should be, getting a lot of wins, not drawing very often, stealing a lot of wins from their opponents, and that's really helping them point-wise.
By the way, we are recording this before the Liverpool game, so we don't know the outcome. Let's try to operate under the assumption they're gonna lose, because I think we can all agree.
It's a fair assumption.
Yeah.
So, based off of that, they will be tied for 5th with Manchester United and Tottenham on points, 1 point above Sheffield United, who all teams have played more than Wolves at the time of our recording, but assuming they lose, they're all very tight. I don't think Sheffield United is going to maintain quite enough to stay in the Europa League position. In terms of Champions League aspirations this season, the way United and Arsenal are playing, it's certainly possible. I would say it's unlikely, but it's certainly possible.
They've already played Man City, so it's...
Yeah, if you look at their run-in after the Liverpool game, they play Man United again, who they can definitely certainly come up with a win there, the way United are playing lately. And then other than that, they got to play Leicester, they got to play Arsenal, and they got to play Chelsea. But out of the last 15 games or 14 games, not a ton of formidable opponents. So it's possible. I don't see it happening because I think they give away too many points to lesser opposition to be in the top 4, especially because they have to catch up to Chelsea at this point. I do agree with your point about Chelsea that they win too many games. I don't think they're going to... I think they will probably stay in the top 4, but it won't be a big gap. It'll be very tight. But just because they're already there, I think they will maintain enough to stay in that position. Rowan, how do you feel?
I pretty much agree with you. I don't think they're going to take top 4. I could even see Hotspurs going into that 4th spot over Chelsea and Man U.
I don't see it. 1 win in the last 5 over just barely being
And no Harry
Norwich.
Kane.
I understand that.
I do not see that happening.
I understand that. I could see it. Arsenal shit in the bed. They're doing nothing special right now. But with Wolves, the main problem I see right now is down the season we know injuries are going to occur, and you guys just do not have the depth to do it.
Absolutely not.
I agree. The Wolves' depth is going to be the death of them.
Horrid.
We play the exact same starting squad every single week.
And the problem is, again, with Europa League, I said at the start of the season that they would struggle with Europa League, but they're doing quite well with it. But in terms of top 4 aspirations, they have to play Espanyol in the round of 32. I think they're going to go through to their last 16. Then the draw will decide how they will do there.
Decide their fate.
If I had to bet right now, I don't think they'd get through the round of 16, but it's certainly very possible that they do. But if I had to bet right now, I would say they wouldn't. But regardless, that's at least 4 more games of Europa League play midweek to go along with the rest of the Premier League season. So depth is certainly going to be an issue. We'll see what they can do in the transfer window. But I can see top 7. I can see Europa League again. I cannot see a top 4 finish for Wolves.
You can't.
I can't.
No.
It's possible.
It's possible, but I don't see it. It's not going to happen.
Chelsea's going to drop off, I think, and I don't think it's.
I don't think it's going to be Wolves surging to take their position, though.
But the problem with Wolves is that they are relying way too heavily on Molineux. If he does not perform in a game, they usually do not.
I don't know. He's not.
No.
Adama's been playing really well.
I understand Adama has. Don't get me wrong. He's been playing good. He's probably their saving grace for how bad they started. But when he does not play well, Wolves usually do not get the result. And that is the issue, because I know he's in a decent streak of form right now. He's gonna fall out of it eventually, and then you're gonna see your downfall.
He had a good last year too. I don't know. I don't
Adama?
see how he drop off.
No, I'm talking about him.
You think
He,
Jimenez is gonna
I
drop
can
off?
see Adama dropping
Slightly,
off. I cannot
slightly.
see.
I think he drops off a little
Jimenez
bit.
dropping
I can't
off.
see him. Dude, I
Slightly.
was telling Jack earlier today. I think him is one of the most underrated players in the Premier League. The amount he does on the field for his squad is more than goals, and his goals are coming steadily. It's not like he's on a big surge of goal scoring. What does he have? 8 Premier League goals this season.
10.
So 10 Premier League goals.
10. He's picked it up again.
So that's pretty That's very impressive, and he's on pace for what, like 15 goals this season. So I don't agree. I think Jimenez is not the problem. I don't think his form is going to drop off. I just think it's
their depth.
I think it's their depth, and they're just prone to dropping points to teams that they shouldn't be dropping points to.
That's fair enough.
So teams have to catch Chelsea. Chelsea are in a position where, Man United, Tottenham, and Wolves are going to continue to drop points here and there, as will Chelsea. But Chelsea have the head start. They're already up by 6 points on all of them.
They haven't not too easy of a schedule either. If you look at who Chelsea plays, we're looking at Leicester, Man U, Spurs. They still got to go through City.
But they can do a job against the big. They've already crushed Tottenham this year.
That's fair.
They can easily beat United at Stamford Bridge.
A game like Villa, you could see them probably choke.
At least Wolves are out of the FA Cup, though.
I mean, if you want to spin that positively, yeah.
Why is that a good thing?
Well, it's not good. I'm saying if we're talking
I
about,
understand that.
What we're talking about is where they're going to finish the Prem.
I don't see the top 4. I
see 6.
Yeah,
I think it's a fair
top 7 is top 7 for sure. I can't see them moving into 4th place, unfortunately. If you had to bet, Jack, would you bet on them finishing top 4?
Like if it's 50-50 odds or whatever?
50-50, if it's a pick'em.
No, I wouldn't bet on them, but I think
it's possible.
Yeah.
It's possible, yeah. Certainly possible. It's an imagine. I mean, it would look
I
weird.
wouldn't bet a lot because the risk of injury.
Yeah.
Like, the drop-off between
risk.
starting squad and bench is
Yeah.
extremely large.
So we'll move on to what the future holds for Wolves. And I'll go on a bit of a spiel here about the future of Wolves. So what Wolves were so successful in doing with Nuno Espirito Santo as their coach, recruited players through Liga NOS, the Portuguese league. Lots of Portuguese players. I think Raul Jimenez played at Benfica at one point. I think was he at Atletico at the time they purchased him?
I'm
not sure.
I know he was at Benfica.
Not sure, but yeah, Portuguese ties, a lot of guys through Portugal. That's how the recruiting process worked. And they would buy younger players like Ruben Neves and I guess Raul Jimenez, who was still improving at the time, wasn't anything tremendous when they purchased him. And even Adama, you could say. They started building up these younger guys with a little bit of pieces from their older core, like Connor Cody, and mixed it with some veteran talent like João Moutinho and Rui Patricio. But they bought these younger players and they built them up into the Premier League. What the problem is going to be now is that there's nowhere to go further forward for Wolves because they don't have the firepower and money power to purchase young players who are already good enough for them to build them up to the next level. What's going to happen is you're going to find Raul Jimenez, players like him, Ruben Neves, even your manager. There's an expiration date for them at Wolves. Ruben Neves is going to move on at some point. Raul Jimenez is going to move on at some point. Even Adama, if some big teams come knocking. Those guys are not going to stay at Wolves over going to a bigger club where they can thrive as well. And the older veteran players like João Moutinho and Rui Patricio are going to begin to regress. And I don't think they have the ability to purchase players to keep them at this level or find themselves at the next level. I think once these players start leaving, like the Ruben Neves, like the Raul Jimenez, there's going to be a bit of an issue replacing them and keeping them at this very good level that they've managed to achieve. They're going to have to really start recruiting younger players. Like Gibbs White is one of them where he's great, but why is he not playing this season? What's changed from this season from last season where he's not quite at the level anymore? And even so, he wasn't tremendous. There's no depth in this squad to replace these players. And a lot of their success as well relies heavily on Nuno as their manager because when a new manager comes in, he's not going to have the ability to recruit such talented players like Ruben Neves. You know, Ruben Neves was captain of FC Porto when he left, and I think he was only like 19, 20 years old.
Yeah, it was crazy.
So he left that team who was challenging for the Portuguese League Championship every season, and we're a Champions League team to join Wolves. I can't see that happening anymore, and I definitely can't see it happening without Nuno there. How do you feel, Jack?
Truth hurts.
Yeah.
I agree with you, yeah.
not. I mean, you guys are pretty quiet.
No, because you summed it all up. It's basically took every point. The way I look at Wolves is we're looking at a lower tier Everton. That's who I'm going to kind of compare them to. Everton bringing, I would almost call them not subpar, but a little bit better than that. But again, it's not players that's going to get them over that hump.
Yeah, you're not signing the young players who are going to take you to the next level. Those kind of players, if you happen to sign one of those, they're going to be out the door in a couple of years when they're already achieving that level before that they can help Wolves progress. I don't think, it's not a FIFA career mode where all your stars are going to stay.
And then you can sell them for big bucks.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. These guys are going to leave and join better clubs, and you're not going to be able to replace them, unfortunately.
Well,
it's a reality.
They did try it with Cutrone. It just didn't work.
I was thinking
I
was thinking about that earlier today about Cutrone. I'm like, that's the kind of signing that they need, but they couldn't get anything out of him. That one did not go well.
I don't think he fit the system.
I don't know. I don't think it was that.
Or does he not fit the Prem?
I thought he'd be fine. I thought he'd be fine in the Premier League. I don't know what it was about him.
I mean, Italian players don't do the best in the Prem.
There are Italian players who do find success.
It's not that.
I wouldn't attribute it to his inability to find success in the Premier League to being Italian and the Italian style of football. I just think that he underperformed. I don't know. He was underperforming at Milan when they signed him. That's why Milan let him go for so cheap, right? I mean, you know best how poor he was in the second half of the season.
Yeah, he didn't have a goal in like 18 games
so
that we let go.
So
that's why we signed Piontek.
So he went to Wolves trying to revitalize his career, and he found game time hard to come by. And to be honest, when he played, he didn't earn any more game time than he was already getting.
No, he was a terrible fan.
But that was... Look, Jimenez, Neves, and Adama Traore. If Adama can even keep up the form,
I think he'll fall off.
These guys are going to leave Wolves at some point in the next 2-3 years, and I don't think they're going to replace them.
What's their saving grace right now? Den Docker, maybe?
No, he's not a game changer. He's a great player, but he's not a game changer that they need.
But they need more signings like that. At least some youth that has the possibility of building.
That's the thing. I don't think,
and they're a part of the comeback.
I don't think that any player who is going to progress is going to stay at Wolves instead of going to another team.
That's fair. They got to really invest in their youth system.
Yeah, I mean, go through the academy at this point. Really start building through your academy. It's a sad reality, but that's truthfully what I think is going to happen with Wolves over the next few years. I think they're going to be a mid-table team. I don't think they're going to be a team getting relegated, but the success is largely on Nuno. And if Nuno finds a new club, there's a problem.
I mean, in all fairness to Wolves, we did think the same thing about Leicester.
But they did falter a lot.
They did, but they went on. Now they're back up.
They
also sold some players for some big money.
They have done very well to recruit, in my opinion.
Oh, James Madison was a steal.
Yeah. I think Leicester's in a really good position right now.
Yeah, Madison is what Wolves need to model the success.
Tielemans.
Yeah,
great signing.
Leicester did very well with their recruitment.
Yeah. Pereira.
And I think Brendan Rodgers is an underrated manager. I think he's a tremendous manager. They've done a great job recruiting. I don't know. Leicester also won the league, so there's
I understand how much money comes in with that.
A lot of money that comes in.
Plus, they sold Conte, Mahrez.
There you go.
Drinkwater went for something too.
Yeah, Drinkwater went for a lot of. That's what I mean. So Wolves could get a lot of money, but the recruiting's going to be tough for a team like Wolves if they don't keep Nuno as their manager. That's basically. I'm going to sum it up.
That's fair. I totally agree.
Anything to add, Jack?
No.
That you kind of see where I'm coming from?
Yeah, I mean, I see the roster. Yeah, it's concerning, definitely.
So we'll end it there. Thank you to Roman Jack for being on the episode. Big things coming in the next few days for the podcast. But in the meantime, shop the merch. The link is in the description. There's stickers, there's water bottles, mugs, everything you need, amateur hour related, other than clothing. No clothing yet, but clothing in the summer. There will be clothing.
In the summer?
At some point.
Ooh.
The latest it will be is the summer, but clothing coming in the future.
Visors?
Maybe, yeah, maybe.
Go get yourself a nice clock.
Go shop the merch. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at AmateurPDC. Follow on Spotify, subscribe on YouTube, and as usual, we post every single day. So keep coming back for daily content. We will see you tomorrow.